Hello and welcome to our Salesforce.com webinar, Salesforce Service and Support. As you may know, Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, and therefore we do need to share the safe harbor statement with you to let you know that any forward-looking statements are just that, forward-looking statements. If you would like to learn more about this safe harbor statement, you can find it on our website under the Investor Relations section. So with that, I would like to introduce Ken Osborne.
Thanks, Sheridan. My name is Ken Osborne, and I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Salesforce Service and Support, which covers both our Salesforce Call Center application as well as our Salesforce Customer Portal. And what we'd like to do today is really get into some details of a customer of ours, Gevity, who went through a very significant business transformation and leveraged Salesforce Service and Support to assist in that transformation. We'll then get into discuss some of the details about our applications, both the customer portal and the call center. And then I'd like to finish the day with the product demonstration and then finally open up for Q&A. So I'm pleased to be able to introduce Suzanne Stanton, the operations manager for Gevity, who will begin to discuss the challenges that they faced in the business transformation that they were undergoing and how they leveraged the Salesforce Call Center to really assist in that process. Suzanne?
Thank you, Ken. Hello, everyone. First, what I need to do is talk to you about, tell you a little bit about Gevity and what Gevity does so that you can get a better understanding as to how Salesforce Service and Support actually supports Gevity. Gevity is a company that provides HR-related type services. We're known as a PEO, Professional Employer Organization. Used to be called not staff leasing, Professional Employer Organization. Sorry about that, guys. We provide payroll processing, health insurance, workers' compensation coverage to small to mid-sized businesses. We also offer HR services such as employee retention programs, new hire support, EPLI coverage, performance management. Basically, for small to mid-sized businesses, we leverage the flexibility and scalability of Gevity's human resource solution to provide maximum return on the investment of their people. And then pretty much what we do is we do payroll and health insurance for these folks. The industry that we're in is the HR outsourcing, or PEO. Gevity has 827 internal employees. We have clients in all 50 states, and we also have 33 Gevity field offices. Currently, we have 730 users of Salesforce. 559 of them are in service and support, and 171 of them are using the sales side of the tool. The Salesforce products that we use is the sales side and also the service and support. We do have a Salesforce partner called Cast Iron, one of their tools that we use. And this is used to take all the information from our core operating system, which is Oracle, and interface that into Salesforce Service and Support. We also utilized a tool that's out on the App Exchange called Demand Tool, or CRM Fusion, and we use this during deployment. Basically because the sales side of the tool already had our clients in the system as leads and prospects. And when we loaded them on the service side, we did not want to have duplicate records, so we utilized this tool for deduping. Gevity's goal basically is to deliver world-class customer service through continuous innovation. We had selected, had a consulting group come in called the Hackett Group. We wanted to make sure that we had best practices in place, and we hired this group to come in and take a look at how we were doing business. And their recommendation was that we needed to change the way we were operating functionally and also invest in a new CRM system. They strongly recommended Salesforce, and we had entertained other vendors as well, but Salesforce was the one of choice. Basically, we felt that would best fit the needs of our organization, was very, very user-friendly, and could be customized on the fly. So that was one of our main reasons, along with the reporting that we can get out of Salesforce, for going with Salesforce Service and Support. We had to change our people, process, and technology, basically to do our reorganizational change to become a world-class service provider. The people, we had to change the entire structure. We went from a rep to client assigned model. So basically our reps were assigned to specific clients, and those clients would call those reps directly. We changed that to a tiered model. Basically we now have a Tier 1, a Tier 2, and a Tier 3. Tier 1 being our call center, where all of our clients and client employees call in for questions and requests. Tier 2 being if the call center is not able to handle the request, a case is created by our Tier 1 folks, and that case is automatically routed to the team in the Tier 2 area that can handle that type of request. If for some reason our Tier 2 group is not able to handle that request, and say perhaps it's a compliance issue or a legal issue and really needs some expertise, then those folks create what's called a related case, and that case automatically routes to that designated center of excellence for resolution. And that was our process change. And technology is the platform. Salesforce supports us in order for us to be able to change from this one-to-one model to a tiered model. People changes, I talked about how we changed into a functional model versus a one-to-one service tier model. Of course, we did have some clients that weren't so happy about that because they had built a relationship with their assigned rep over the years and wasn't really too keen on calling into a call center and getting just anybody. But really with the service and support in place, anybody could fulfill the request of those clients when they called in, because everyone in the call center has access to all of the client's information right at their fingertips. They have access to the client's data information and any cases that have been created for that client are right there in front of them. That way the client does not have to repeat their story when calling back in. It also helped us with a defined career path for our folks. In the one-to-one model, the reps were responsible for so many different things that there really wasn't a defined career path for them to follow down. Now they have the ability to go from a Tier 1 or to a Tier 2 or a Tier 3. There's a much more defined career path and opportunities for them. With Salesforce, because we are actually able to pull so much more data and reporting than what we previously were able to, we're able to hold our reps accountable for the work that they do. We have KPIs, what we call key performance indicators, that we pull out of Salesforce. Basically, so as an example, in the call center, each agent should have, for every call they received, a case created. So we pull phone statistics and case statistics and match them up and hold each agent accountable for making sure that they are documenting every interaction that we have with our clients. We also have dashboards, which is kind of like a graphical representation available for all of our colleagues to see where they're at with their workload. How many cases have they opened today? How many cases did they close yesterday or last week or this week? It's lots of visible data and information available to everyone. Training commitments, Salesforce is very, very easy to train. It's very user-friendly. It's almost intuitive. But we're able to provide training to everyone very easily. As far as process changes, when we changed to a functional model not only to be world-class service providers, but because Gevity is a publicly traded company, we do have to be SAS 70 compliant. And at the end of 2007, we were actually received a non-qualified certification, and that was only due to the help of Salesforce in our new model. We were able to segregate duties, and in order to do that, we had to be functional in manner, and the tool actually helps us do that because cases are created and are routed to those specific teams that handle those functions only. Salesforce Service and Support changed the way that our clients interact with us and the way that we interact with our clients. We are able to give our clients, when they call in, a case number as a reference number. And basically our clients really like that because when they call back, they just have to give the case number. Our rep pulls up their information and can see everything that's been logged for them, and the client doesn't have to repeat their story. And we all know that when you have to repeat your story to more than one person, it's very frustrating. We have the Centers of Expertise that has clear escalation paths. That way everyone knows what they're supposed to do, and actually the tool will automatically route cases to the appropriate teams, which is wonderful. Our agents don't have to think, where should this go? I'm not able to handle this. Where should this go? The tool knows by the way it's configured on where and what team should be working this issue. Ownership and accountability, again, we're able to pull so many different reports out of Salesforce that we weren't able to before, so we can hold our agents and reps responsible and accountable for providing the world-class service that we expect of them. We also are able to continuously analyze the data to make better business decisions. We can see trending, and we can see where our successes are and also where our areas of needs improvement are. For technology, our organizational change, we basically started our project in February of 2007 and went live October 7th of 2007, which was about 9 months. If we weren't doing an organizational change, completely doing the way we operate, it probably would have took us about 3 to 4 months to actually deploy service and support. It's very, very simple and easy to configure and put in place. We have 559 users of service and support. That's Tier 1 folks, Tier 2, Tier 3, managers, admins, field reps, and other business units, which are our centers of excellence. Our field folks are responsible for also using the service and support too, because those are the ones that actually go out and visit the clients face-to-face. And so what they do is they go into service and support, review the client's account. They can see all the cases that have been logged, see what's in those cases so that when they go out to visit, they're very knowledgeable of what the corporate office has been handling for them. And this way, if there was something that was not, a nice thing, they're prepared to handle that. Or they can also say, basically, we see that we've been providing you this type of service over this course of time. With the visibility of reporting information in Salesforce, we proactively monitor our service delivery. With Salesforce providing us a 360-degree view of our clients' interactions, we're able to lay the technological foundation to provide world-class service. Basically, without Salesforce, we wouldn't be able to get the data that we are today and do the world-class service. And what's nice about it is with the 360 view, I'm talking about where sales is using the tool, where the client is a lead or a prospect and then becomes a client on the service side in service and support. So all of our folks can see our clients' interactions. So if the salesperson needs to go out and do a visit, or if our account execs need to do a visit, again, they can go into the service and support tool and see everything at their fingertips. For deployment, of course, we had to get senior executive buy-in to the new service delivery model in the tool. Communication, we had to communicate to our entire organization that we were making this operational model change and also going to a new CRM tool. We had lots of communication to our clients as well. We had to inform them that we would be providing service in a different manner to them. Basically, we migrated 10,000 clients and 250,000 of their employees into the service and support tool. We provided training for all of our Gevity colleagues via Classroom and WebEx. The Classroom training really, because it's so user-friendly, only took about 3 to 4 hours, and the WebEx was about 2 hours because the tool is very, very intuitive. We had a big bang rollout. Basically, we turned everybody's world upside down at Gevity with our new org and our new tools, but because the tool was so simple, it went over very easily. We do use the tool extensively with workflows and assignment rules, custom S controls, and record types. And the nice thing about that is the tool is very easy to configure. It used to be that if I needed to add a new field into our CRM, I would have to put in a request to our IT department, and would take probably about 3 months before I got my results back. But now if I need to actually add new fields, I personally can go in there in just a few minutes and add the new fields that I need. I don't have to go through IT's red tape. I can do it on my own and not hurt anything in production or anything like that. It's very, very simple. When we deployed, we had the tool about 85% completed on go-live date. And the reason why we only had 85% completed is because we wanted to fine-tune after we went live. We knew that we would want to make some tweaks here and there. And again, we were able to do so on the fly because we did not have to go through our IT group. The tool is very easy to configure and make changes to. Continuous improvement. I wanted to talk and let you know that Salesforce is very, very supportive. We have a premier support rep. And recently they actually came on site and visited us. They do this on a yearly basis. We had our first visit with them just about a month ago. What they do is they come over and they see how are you using the tool. They actually sit down with us and look, and we go through like a demonstration on how we use the tool, and then they make suggestions. Did you know if you could do this, you might get a better result if you did things this way? So they give us lots of suggestions on what we can do to utilize the tool to its fullest abilities. Also, we talk about future enhancements, what things that we need to enhance. One of the things that we talked about on our health check was the need for email to case. So my Premier Support rep is working with me to put email to case in place. Basically what it is in your Outlook you can actually just click on a button and your email will be made into a case. That way you don't have to retype things and create cases and email separately, which will increase our efficiencies greatly. Also, recently we implemented what we call the Gevity Ideas page, which is part of the Salesforce Service and Support tool. It's an ideas area. It's kind of like an electronic suggestion box. And we were able to configure that in less than 2 hours. I would say probably even just an hour with myself and my Premier Support rep. And we're piloting that within a certain group. And I know that Starbucks uses the Ideas page externally, and they have a wonderful page. And then once we get through our pilot, we will probably look to do something externally for our clients to give us suggestions on how we might do things better. But it's very good. I can't talk enough about the support that we get from Salesforce. I have many avenues of support. I have my Premier Service Report rep. I also have my Customer Service Manager, and I have my Sales Executive. I have 3 ways of getting support. So if I have a question, I can tag any one of those individuals. Even my sales guy, maybe I just give him a call and he'll answer me a question. He doesn't give me the, oh, well, I'm just a sales guy and I only do sales stuff. He'll do whatever it takes to get me the answer or point me in the right direction. And our customer success manager is always there. And sometimes I ask the same question of all 3. But they're all very, very helpful and willing to help me at any given time, basically drop whatever they're doing and look for the answer for me. They're great. And what this has resulted in and will result in is basically a significant cost savings projected to be 6 figures annually. We attained 86% first contact resolution. World class is 85%. That benchmark source is from the Hackett Group, which is wonderful. We set these aggressive goals when we deployed, and we were actually able to do this within 3 months of deployment. The support data is easily accessible to sales reps and business units and executive teams. Everyone has access that needs to have access to our clients' information, so they're well informed of what's going on with our clients. They also see how our business is operating. How many cases have we created today? How many cases did we create last week? How many have we closed? And for trending purposes, what types of cases? That way we can see if perhaps maybe we need to do some education with our agents or maybe we need to do some education with our clients. It really helps us to make better business decisions on where our dollars should be spent and training should be focused on. Faster performance than our prior CRM. When we had our Oracle CRM, basically we would get the hourglass when we were trying to enter what we call tasks, which are the same thing as cases, and we'd have to sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait. But Salesforce is web hosted, and it's on Salesforce Service, and they are very, very quick. You type, you click, you go. It's very, very quick. Customization on the fly. Like I previously talked about, I no longer have to log a request with my IT department to add additional fields or change some routing of cases. I can actually go in and do that myself on my own in just a few minutes, and it's not going to hurt anything. I'm not going to break anything, bring down the entire system, or crash the server or anything like that. It's very, very user-friendly and very easy to do. Our customer satisfaction has improved dramatically. At first, our customers, some of them were a little not so happy because they no longer had their one-to-one rep. But because everyone has access to the client's information and everything is cased, all of our interactions are right there for our clients. When they call in, any one of our reps can now help them. They also get a case number, which our clients like. That way, if they call back in, they can just give us that case number, and anybody can pull that case up, read through that case, see all the history, what's been going on, and the client does not have to repeat their story. Continued process improvement. We're always improving. Salesforce always has enhancements coming out basically quarterly. They have what they call summer release, winter release, spring release, and with each one of those releases, our customer service manager comes out and basically gives us a heads up of what's coming and tries to see how we could utilize those enhancements. We're also going to be introducing a CTI IVR enhancement here in the third to fourth quarter. Basically what that is an integration with our phone system where our clients, when they call in, we're going to be prompting them to enter their client number. And when they do that, it's going to actually go look into the service and support tool and pull that client's record. So when the call gets to the agent, that client's page and case information will already be displayed when our agent gets that phone call. It has increased our voluntary colleague attrition has decreased by 17%. So basically what that really means is that our team members are happier. The tool is so easy to use. They don't get frustrated. Their stress levels are down. Before, they were multitasking, had many hats on at one time. The CRM is very hard to document client interactions in. And now that things have been more functionally aligned and the tool is so easy to use, our attrition's actually decreased. Our stress levels of our team members have actually gone down. So basically, Salesforce has really supported our business and our organizational change. We couldn't have done it without them, with the cases automatically routing to all the different teams that need to handle such things. It's an awesome tool. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ken.
Thanks, Suzanne. What I'd like to do now is just talk to you a little bit about our actual solution for the Salesforce Customer Portal and the Salesforce Call Center and how customers are being much more responsive in their delivery of services and the overall environment that's forcing them to be more responsive. So if we look at some of the trends that are happening today, companies are releasing new products to market faster than they ever have before. And that really doesn't matter what industry they're in. All industries are creating new products. They're releasing those at a much faster pace. I know at Salesforce we go through a new product introduction about 3 times a year. And from an organizational standpoint, that means that everybody has to be ready to respond to that. They have to understand what the new features are. They have to understand what the issues that the customers will face and be ready to respond to those issues. Now, on top of this new product volume, products are also more complex. There's more feature sets that companies are delivering out to their customers. There's more components within the actual products and more challenges in addressing service to those. So this product complexity is on top of this organizational change that companies have to go at a much greater pace. Now beyond that, customer expectations themselves have changed. So customers are really demanding more immediacy from their service delivery. It goes from their consumer experiences where they do have access to things immediately, whether that's on iTunes or whether that's on-demand movies. It's no longer the choice the option that you have to go to a movie theater physically to see that movie. It went to the option to rent that from a store. It then went to the option to rent that online, and now you've got the theater, the online rental, the video rental, and the on-demand choice. So this consumer experience has affected consumer lives, whether that's in a B2B environment or a B2C. And it's just much harder to deliver against those expectations. Now beyond that, customers have a much bigger voice. So if companies are failing to deliver that, it's no longer that 6 to 8 people that someone will talk to about that service experience that they've had. Traditionally it was that they would go home, talk about it to their family, or they would go into work and talk about it over the water cooler. Now, with the presence of these online consumer websites and channels to voice expression, whether that's YouTube or Yelp, there's a much broader audience that customers are reaching with these service experiences. Beyond that, consumers are now basing buying decisions on what they read that their fellow consumers are expressing about products. So consumers are now looking to their peers to make more intelligent decisions and become part of a crowd and a community. So what this means from a service perspective is that you have many more channels and many more variables that you have to monitor in your overall service delivery. You definitely have to look at your service performance and traditional call statistics and how well you're performing against those and make plans to improve those in the future. But you also now have to look at what your customers are saying about you in the Internet and outside of your own four walls. And you have to monitor what they're saying, and you have to somehow demonstrate a response to that. And this environment is exactly where Salesforce has designed its products and applications to perform well with the Salesforce Call Center and the Salesforce Customer Portal. So imagine if every single one of your agents became your brand champion. We focus very heavily on agent usability and productivity tools to allow agents to respond to customers immediately. We want to empower them and empower them to respond to those customers with the appropriate answers and solve their issues that they're facing. They're much more challenging issues that are coming into the call center, and these agents need to be able to feel like they're have the tools to perform their job. And if they do, they're much happier in their response and become your brand champions. We also focus on making self-service portal your destination. So too many companies have focused traditionally on self-service as a call deflection. And there's no doubt that it's a lower-cost channel delivery. It's a lower-cost service option. But if you force your customers out to this website and they don't find that what they want, then they are coming right back in. And they're not going to, it's going to be that much harder to get them back to that channel in the end. So you need to create a community presence or a destination that they want to come to. And Salesforce has focused on this by delivering many more tools than just the typical call deflection. You want to make sure that every question immediately has a good answer. So you want to be able to leverage your expertise and provide consistent answers in a knowledge base. But companies are delivering more content that they want to push out to their customers, so we want to be able to publish content and have a content management system that's tied to that. And finally, we want to be able to enable the live collaboration between agents if they can't find the response that they want. We want to be able to pull in team members to respond to a customer issue and target those experts to help respond in that issues. The next step is focusing your next best ideas coming from your customers. Now, our ideas tool is really focused in two areas. And the first of that is absolutely innovation. We want to find out as a company what the customers are saying and what features and functions they're looking for and how they're, as a community, prioritizing the delivery of those features and functions. And that allows you as a company to focus your resources in a much more efficient manner. But the second thing that Ideas does is it provides a forum out to your end customers for them to voice the emotions that they're having around your service delivery. So you want to create this forum that's not out in the consumer websites such as YouTube or Yelp, but managed by you in an area that you can show response to. You have an idea what your customers are saying about you. You then have the ability to respond to those issues, respond to that individual customer who expressed that emotion, as well as demonstrating that responsiveness to all of your customers. And finally, what if you were managing with information? So Suzanne talked a lot about the visibility that Salesforce provides into their end processes, and now the ability to make those changes. So sense trends and react to those proactively versus waiting until they become an issue. So looking at that visibility and tying that into the flexibility of a system to make changes, adapt, and improve your overall service delivery. And what if you could do that tomorrow? So all five of those are key pieces and key components to an overall service and support solution, but you need to be able to respond much quicker than traditional on-premise software solutions. And that's why the overall implementations of service and support for Salesforce customers have all ranged in under 3 months, because we understand that companies need to be more responsive in today's environment. So if you look at Qualcomm is providing, is a hardware high-tech manufacturer for cell phones and mobile technologies, and they looked at Salesforce to provide more consistent technology solution across all of their business units. Their business units have very unique challenges, and they needed a system that could address all of those in one overall architecture. That was done in under 2 months. Now as Qualcomm brings on more business units across their whole organization, they can do that in under a week. Simon is a telecommunications provider in Iceland. and they are the only provider for several 100,000 customers in that area. And within the telecommunications, they're a triple play provider, so providing many different services to customers. And we all understand that this is a very complex environment because there's a lot of relationships, but they were able to deliver their service and support solution in just 3 months' time. Now, what's more important than just the initial implementation is to keep looking forward. And this is where the benefits of software as a service really come in. We're providing you with that visibility, but we're also providing you the flexibility and the architecture to respond to that immediately and not having to wait for that 3-month time frame that Suzanne mentioned from IT. So we're allowing companies to sense these directions and make those customizations and changes themselves with fast iterations. We're focusing Salesforce as a company on your entire infrastructure management and allowing you as a customer to focus more on your innovation and your business delivery. Salesforce has a great deal of experience in call centers of all different sizes, and those range, one, in the complexity of processes that we're supporting, where we're looking at more of the simple calls where customers are calling in for information or simple requests such as an address change, to those where it's a much more complex conversation that an agent has to have with a customer. So if you can think about a scenario where somebody's retiring, they're going through a very major life change, and they don't want the agent to process through this conversation quickly. They want to make sure that their answers are responded to. They want to make sure that they have the information and decisions that they need to make and assistance through that. So it's a very complex process where you're not focused on getting that customer off the phone. Now, additionally, we have a broad range of volumes that we're supporting, from the simple low volume of calls per day to very high volume, where we have one customer that's generating approximately 100,000 cases per day, which is a very high volume. We also have a very broad industry coverage, from financial services to high-tech, consumer products, and life sciences, as well as a broad range of agent call centers, the size of the call center itself, ranging from the small tens of agents to multiple thousands of agents themselves. Now, what we've seen with the evolution of service is that this environment has created a whole new opportunity for service. There was a lot of talk from 2000 on about how the service can be managed as a revenue center or as a profit center. But what that caused was there was a lot of focus on actual transactions within service. So how many calls could be deflected to a lower cost channel? What were the actual call statistics and agent handling time? And what was the overall customer satisfaction rating? But there was a little bit of the business that was lost to that because it was focused so heavily on customer satisfaction and those benchmarks. And what we're seeing now is the trend is moving towards a customer-based service. And the advantage of that is we have that much larger voice of the customer that is not just a challenge but can also be a huge benefit. If we look at Salesforce, we have over 77% of our customers who will recommend or have recommended our solutions to their peers. And what that makes is your customers then become your best evangelists. And to do that, you have to focus your service on more of a destination. You have to provide more value to those customers to actually come and interact with you, to interact with their peers and determine or describe how they're using your products. You want to make sure that your agents are focused on more of a value-added conversation where they can understand the issues that the customer is facing and provide more to that customer over that conversation. And you want to focus more on an overall customer loyalty. So you don't want to just measure satisfaction, which tends to be rating towards the last interaction that the customer's had, but you want an overall experience of that customer to really drive into what their decisions are and that overall loyalty factor. So what I'd like to do now is spend a few minutes to go ahead and demonstrate the product. And I'm going to start with a scenario that starts in our customer portal. So we have a customer logging in to do some self-service and research an issue. And I'll go ahead and open up that. So I'm now acting as Lauren Boyle. Lauren is a customer for UCI, and she has some of our hardware products. So we do want the ability to do that call deflection and resolve our own issues through a knowledge base. But customers sometimes can't find that issue, and they would like to create a case to process through to the company. So I'm Lauren Boyle, and I couldn't really find what I wanted, so I will create a case. So with Salesforce, we have the ability to classify case types and really change the layout of the case and the type of information that you gather from that case. So I'll create a technical issue and go ahead and continue. The challenge I'm facing today is that my desktop error reboots constantly, and I can't figure out what is going wrong with that. So I'm going to log that as an issue. And I could enter information about my product, about the asset itself, but I'll just go ahead and submit that case. And we still want the ability to see if this is a real issue with Lauren Boyle, or as a company, is there a way to offset that? So what we see is that suggested solutions have been proposed to Lauren for that desktop reboot error. So as Lauren, I will go in and I'll research that. And I find here, as I look through this solution, that the challenge I'm facing is that the compatibility of my software with an on-premise solution isn't really there. So I'm having problems with that. And then I noticed that in the next release, they're going to a software as a service solution, which should resolve all of my issues. So I can mark down that this solution did help me, giving the company feedback on how to improve their overall solutions that they deliver out, what works, what needs improvement. But I'm going to go ahead and keep my case open. And so I've left that case open. Now, we talk a lot about this self-service as a destination, so we want to provide customers with the customer portal more information than just that simple call deflection. So the first way to do that is through reporting and providing transparency to end customers, to your end customers, on the performance that you're doing. What types of service have you delivered to them? How often have you delivered service recently? And just how well you're performing. Customers tend to lose sight of that, and it's good with the reporting functionality to remind them ever so often. We also want the ability to publish content, whether that's software downloads, whether that's product catalogs, the ability to publish content out to our end customers and have them come in and get access to this. Now, we want to create more of a collaborative experience around our content. So we have delivered tools within the consumer web so that customers can see how many downloads are there, what's the most frequently downloaded documentation, what have other people found relevant. I do have a search to do that, but I can look immediately to find what other customers like me have found effective. Now I'll go and I'll open up this documentation, and I can get just a simple preview of what's provided. And as I'm looking through this, I find that for Lauren Boyle, this software as a service solution is not going to be available to existing customers. It's only going to be offered to new customers. But you see, as Lauren, I've got complete feedback to the company. I can vote on this, tell the company how effective I thought this was. I can also subscribe to this content so that any changes or updates that are made to this document will automatically get pushed out to all subscribers of that. Now, the last thing I want to do is, because of the fact that this company has identified that the new solution for software as a service is only available to new customers, I would like to log an idea around that to say, you know what, I'm an existing customer and I would find that valuable as well. So this is the forum that we talk about that provides our customers with a channel to express emotions, express their ideas, and express their innovation, and as a company demonstrate response to that. So as Lauren Boyle comes in here, she sees that another customer has already created the same idea, that SaaS applications should be available to existing customers. She can go ahead and vote on that and provide her own input to say, yes, this is critical to me and I believe in this as well as adding comments to create a conversation among your customers, to get them talking to each other and determining how they're using their products, what innovative ways they've come up with around your products. Really delivering this entire destination. Now, from a call center perspective, we want to make sure that whatever service delivery we've created on the web is consistent across our entire channel. And because the Salesforce Call Center and Salesforce Customer Portal are both built on the same framework, any changes you make in the overall process are immediately reflected across all channels. So I'm now logged in as a call center agent for the UCI, and I can see immediately that I have a new case in here from Lauren Boyle. And what I want to do is go ahead and look at the different details around that case. So I can see what type of customer that Lauren Boyle is, what rating she has, what are the 360-degree view, so what actions and opportunities do we have from a call center perspective, what is the sales information that I have around Lauren, and what's the history that we have. So I see that she's got several closed cases, some details here, and I can just look at the general overall case information. Now, we do have the click-to-dial and CTI integration, so I could immediately call Lauren Boyle and determine why she hasn't closed this case and process on immediately with that. So that completes my overall demo. I've looked real briefly at the agent console and the tools that the agent has for around their case processing, around the overall 360-degree view of the customers. We've also looked at the customer portal to see how we've delivered more of a call deflection and much more of a, more than just a call deflection and much more of a destination for overall service. And this ties very directly into what Suzanne has mentioned before in providing more visibility into your overall processes and the ability to make changes when you do see things happen. So at this point, I would like to open it up to questions. And I happen to have a question here, which is geared towards Suzanne. So Suzanne, it says that you talked a little bit about how you went live with just 85% of the functionality. And I think that's a little bit of a new concept to people around projects and the abilities that you have with this, or the benefits that you have with software as a service. So could you tell us a little bit about that process and how you did some more of the ongoing configuration after you were live?
Sure. We configured the tool to about 85% completion. When we left some wiggle room on purpose because we knew that when we went live, we would need to make some tweaks and changes, some fine-tuning as you have it. So basically, on the day of deployment, we were watching our operations very closely to make sure everything was operating smoothly and effectively. And towards the end of the week, we gathered all the data that we obtained from our first week of deployment and made any necessary changes that we need to. Basically, if a case that got created by our Tier 1 folks needed to be routed to a different team than what we had originally slated it for, we just went in and made that update right there on the fly and just took a few minutes. And we are continuously improving our process and adding new things as we go along. It's very easy.
I have another question here. It talks about your agents that you mentioned that agent turnover had been reduced. And what are some of the tools that has made them happier overall?
Actually, the service and support tool is so easy to use because all they're really doing is clicking and looking at pick lists and picking predefined items for them, adding some notes, and then basically clicking the Save button, and the case routes to where it needs to go to automatically. They don't have to worry or fret about where should I send this to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks. Basically, the case is routed with the assignment rules that we've deemed to go to the appropriate team for handling that issue to resolution. It takes a lot of stress off the agents for them to have to think that they're able to service the client and not worry about things falling through the cracks because they're not sure of where to send it to. So they're much more happier people these days.
Well, we have no more questions. So at this point, I would like to thank everybody for their attendance. I would like to thank Suzanne very much for helping us out with this webinar. If we do receive any questions in the meantime, we will respond to those over email. And I'd like to thank you again and wish you all a good afternoon. Thank you.